Hello, welcome to our science fair video. We are students from 9th grade, specifically I'm Rodrigo López and my partner is Joaquín Castillo, and today we are here to present to you our science fair topic, which is whether we are able to measure the amount of glucose present in our foods. This science fair video is dedicated to Carl Sagan, which was a young astronomer that encouraged the young population to see the skies and wonders of space.
So first of all, together we formed our hypothesis, which is that if we use urinalysis test strips to measure the amount of glucose directly of food on different types of food, then we can identify which samples of foods have higher amount of sugars that can harm.
The objectives of this science fair video is to measure the concentration of glucose in a variety of common fruits and uses using urinalysis test strips. We will also explain what are urinalysis test strips and how does these little plastic strips work. We will also understand why do certain foods have a higher natural amount of sugars in the fruit itself, for example.
So we first need to define some terms for you to know exactly what are we talking about. For science fair project, we must understand roughly what glucose is. So briefly, it is a simple type of sugar that our bodies use to fuel the cells. Glucose is formed by the breaking down of carbohydrates. However, too much glucose could be harmful. For example, diabetes is a chronic health condition that affects how your body turns food into energy. Since the body does not produce enough insulin or cannot use it efficiently. This hormone regulates the sugar levels in our blood. So the lack of this results in a higher amount of glucose in the blood. For this, urinalysis test strips, which are narrow plastic strips, can be used to examine the glucose levels present in urine by analyzing them with some reactive path it has. And it will change color depending on how much glucose there is. In our case, we are using these strips to measure the amount of glucose in our foods, not in urine.
So the materials that we plan to use are the following. We need one graduated cylinder that is able to hold 100 milliliters of water. We need one small bag of glucose powder. We need 30 grams of it. We also need urinalysis test strips, 8 plus 3 for each food and use you plan to test. You also need food coloring, but that is optional, but we recommend to use it and the color does not matter. You need one scale to accurately measure 1 gram, and also you need room temperature water, one permanent marker, foods and uses to test, that in our case is soft drinks, diet soft drinks, vegetables, fruits, honeys, and more. And also a lab notebook to record all your observations. Now, to start with this experiment, we must first determine whether the urinalysis test strips actually work. To do this, we must make a positive control group to test the levels of glucose intensity and see if the test strips provide accurate results. Thus, we will label 6 cups as 2%, 1%, 0.5%, 0.25%, 0.125%, and 0.0625%. All of these represents how much glucose there is. So, in the cup labeled as 2%, we will add 200 milliliters of water and then add 4 grams of glucose powder or dextrose powder. It's the same thing. And then stir it well. We'll also add 2 to 5 drops of food coloring to this solution to represent how much glucose is present in regards to the color intensity. The color itself does not matter. Now we will add 100 milliliters of water to the other 5 cups and measure 100 milliliters of the 2% solution water. Add it to the cup labeled as 1% and then stir it well. We have now made a 1% solution. We will do the same for the 0.5% solution and all other remaining solutions. Make sure to rinse the graduated cylinder, or in our case measuring cup, so you don't add more glucose by accident. Now every cup should have 100 milliliters of water mixed with glucose, except for the 0.0625 solution. We should have 200 milliliters of water. We should also have a negative control, thus we must fill an extra cup without any glucose and label it as 0%. Now that we have made our controls, we will dip our test strips in each of the 7 cups. After 1 to 2 seconds, we will remove the test strips from the solutions and wait 30 seconds for the results. Then we are going to match the color of the glucose marker on the test strips to the color on the bottle and record our findings in our lab notebooks. After we see that the urinalysis test strips actually work, we will start measuring the glucose amount in our fruits, vegetables, soft drinks, and sauces. Now for any liquid or viscous substance, we must first pour it in a small cup. Then we will dip the test strips, and after removing them for 1 to 2 seconds and waiting 30 seconds for them to show the proper color, we will match this set color to the colors on the bottle to identify the glucose amount in the substance. Now for the testing on fresh fruits and vegetables, press the test strip against the freshly cut slice of the food until the test strip is thoroughly wet, and repeat the same steps with the other testing subjects. Remember to record all your findings in your lab notebooks. So, by analyzing the results indicated by the blue reactive pad, we have made a table that allowed us to analyze our results. We noted that soft drinks had the most amounts of sugar from everything we tested, giving results around 600 milligrams per deciliters of glucose. Moreover, our results tell us that, as we expected, diet soft drinks don't appear to contain any glucose on them. Further, our results determined that substances like honey, jelly, mustard, mayonnaise, and other sauces do contain high amounts of glucose, with some of them even measuring up to 550 milligrams per deciliter. While with fruits, we found that red apples have more sugars than green ones, hence why they taste sweeter. Now overall, we found that fruits and vegetables does not have a considerable amount of sugar. For instance, a red apple measured 250 milligrams per deciliter of sugar. Interesting though, after we did the experiment, we observed that the colorants found in soft drinks and in some fruits and vegetables maintain their test strips, so it makes it difficult to get accurate results. Also, honey and jelly must be diluted with water, since the test strips cannot analyze very viscous substances. In conclusion, in this first project, we were able to test our hypothesis by measuring the amount of glucose in fruits, vegetables, soft drinks, honey, and more. Our findings support our initial hypothesis, and with this, we understand that a high intake of sugars may lead to health conditions such as diabetes, cancer, strokes, and more. Further, the project helps us understand why fruits and vegetables have a higher amount of natural sugars in them, as in the case of, let's say, apples, which the high sugars in the flesh of the fruit both serve as energy fuel for the seeds to grow. Now, the materials of these projects are neither too expensive nor too difficult to find, with the only exception being the $15 urinalysis test strips, although they can be found in places that sell medical equipment. Nonetheless, if you're interested in replicating this project, we recommend you to dilute viscous substances like honey in water before testing them with the test strips, and overall, we recommend you to avoid the consumption of sodas and high sugar sauces for a better diet overall. Thank you for watching our science fair video.